Good day, ma'am. I am Ahmed Habib from STEM 11.5 and I will be discussing about applying effective reading strategies. First, we are going to talk about on getting an overview of the text. Me as a student, I really have a short span of focus, so I really get distracted easily. So what I am doing is that I'm really trying to narrow down what I understand to the certain topic. In order to do that, there are some steps that I'm following to be able to delve deeper into the whole part of the topic without wasting my time. So, we have previewing, skimming, and scanning. Previewing is defined as looking at the readily visible part of the text, like titles and subtitles, and also visual and graphs, picture and charts. So really, previewing could help me sometime to get the gist of the topic I'm reading about, where sometime with just a, with just the little itself, I'm kind of getting the vibe and the content of what I'm about to read, and with that, ideas ideas will run already in my head. Also, in previewing, it helps us to familiarize with the context of the text, and to preview properly, we should of course first identify our purpose for reading. Next, we should examine the titles and subtitles of the text. Afterward, we will we will browse the intro and the conclusion, and lastly, we are going to look at the visual elements of the text, as it helps us also to give information about on what we read. Next is skimming and scanning. Skimming is defined as a technique where we look for the main point of reading and identify the ideas that develop it. So, it means skimming is a technique for us to use if we only want to get the main point of the text. So, in skimming, we are just going to let our eyes wander along with our fingers as we trace the lines in the text that we read. It could also speed up our reading, and with this we are still able to get the gist of what we are reading, which is also easy in my part. Next is scanning. So it is defined as type of reading that is only looking for us specific information. So in this technique, we are just going to use this if if we are finding a certain detail about the text that we are reading. So of course, we are not going to read the whole text. However, we're going to scan it to find the detail. Usually, those details are in bold form or italicized form, so it's easier to find those kind of certain details. Now, I'm going to talk about on how we're going to use context clues. So after we know already how to get the gist of the text, we're of course going to learn on how we improve our reading comprehension and reading pace by using context clues. So first of all, context clues are words, phrases, and sentences that surround an unfamiliar word that can help recognize the meaning of an unknown word because the text gives you information about it. Context clues are basically a technique we use to gather clues to be able to understand the unfamiliar word that we could encounter. So there are four ways for us to use context clues. First are the synonyms. So synonyms are used when the text has words or phrases that are similar in meaning to the unknown word. So it basically means that by using synonyms, we are able to understand the unfamiliar word, as we will find similar words that is more familiar to us. Mostly, synonyms clues may be signaled by the following words, like or as. For example, in sentence, my wife is a grumpy, it seems like she is unhappy. With this sentence, if a person is not familiar with that word grumpy, he or she could understand it with the synonyms context clue. That is presented as it is being followed with the word unhappy. So with that, the reader could understand the grumpy means sad or unhappy. Next, we have an antonyms. So antonyms is the opposite of the synonyms where it is a word that reveals the opposite meaning in a relation to the unknown word. When you see words like although, but, despite, instead, in contrast, unlike, however, even though, on contrary, and my conversely, these usually precede antonyms because these are used to show contrasting ideas. Example, my wife is grumpy, but I am happy with this situation. With this, the reader could understand that the husband is happy while the wife is not. Third one is the example, where it is defined as a specific detail in a text that are used to clarify the meaning of word. So, if the reader could not understand the word, he or she can look for some examples related to it so he or she could better understand what it really means. Lastly is the explanation and definitions. Explanations are defined as giving clue to describe an unknown term. When phrases like because or that is, follow a word, these may be explanations. Meanwhile, definitions may follow an unfamiliar word. Terms like is, means, is defined as, and refers to are used with definitions. With this explanation and definition, the reader could understand the meaning of unfamiliar word as it will be more elaborated. So this technique will help to clarify things and to be able to simplify things. So before I end this, I want to say that by using those techniques and getting the overview of the text and also by using the context clue, I believe that the reader could easily understand the text he or she is reading as he or she will implement those techniques that makes the reading way easier and fun. So I hope you all really learned something again. Again, this is Ahmed Habib from STEM 11.5. Thank you for listening.